Hotspur are taking a huge swing, and this swing is trying to get Roberto De Zerbi without the assurance that they are going to be in the Premier League next season. That right there is a problematic situation. And I'm going to tell you guys why that's a problematic situation. But before I do that, make sure you guys hit that button, give me some high points, comment down below what you think about Tottenham Hotspur going for Roberto De Zerbi, and make sure you turn on your notifications and hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into it. Now the focus about this situation and why I think this is a risk for Tottenham Hotspur is because the reward you get to staying in the Premier League is very high. There's a lot of money, but this is a sinking ship. And usually, when it comes to Premier League proven coaches, you go for the person that has fought in this kinds of battle before, rather than going for someone that is, I'm going to change the culture of this team. Because there's no time to change the culture of Tottenham Hotspur right now. You have games and 7 games to keep Tottenham Hotspur up. If you fail it without getting at least 6 points, which I believe would keep Tottenham Hotspur up, you are going down. And that would mean a £300 million plus loss for Tottenham Hotspur. Not just that, based on what they have committed or they are trying to commit to Roberto De Zerbi's contract, it's also going to be an additional huge amount of money. Now let's get into what we are talking about based on what we are hearing about Roberto De Zerbi. It is good that Tottenham Hotspur are going for their target. That's what a big team would do. That's what a team that wants to go forward would do. But the question is a better choice for you to get someone like Sean Dyche to keep you guys up and then move for Roberto De Zerbi, where you give him the entire summer, you give him the entire window in terms of the transfer to get in players that he would absolutely love. That is where the problem lies. Because Tottenham Hotspur are going to look at De Zerbi and they are throwing the kitchen sink for De Zerbi. What I'm hearing right now is that Tottenham Hotspur are interested and in advanced talks with Roberto De Zerbi because they want to appoint him right now. But these talks are not just talking about if you get us to stay, we'll give you an extension. These talks are 5-year contract with a survival bonus. What is a survival bonus, you ask? A survival bonus is a large, generous sum of money that Roberto De Zerbi is going to be given if he can keep Tottenham Hotspur up in the Premier League. Now, don't get me wrong, it absolutely makes sense that you give him an incentive to keep them up. You give him the incentive to come right now instead of waiting for the end of the summer. So whether you keep him up or not, or you keep them up or not, you are going to be getting paid regardless. And then the 5-year contract is a situation and a focus where if you give Roberto De Zerbi 5 years, the players on there realize that they are having their manager. This is going to be the next manager for 5 years. He has control. They have to shape up because this is not just a manager that comes in and says, I'm going to keep you guys up and whatever you guys do after that is your business. Usually those managers don't have the cojones. They don't have the power to change things because the players are already seeing them as, man, you ain't going to be here next week. You ain't going to be here next year. So why am I listening to you? With Roberto De Zerbi, it's totally different. It's a situation where he is going to be the manager of Tottenham Hotspur unless he chooses not to be. Because it's going to be a situation with that 5-year deal. It's ridiculous. And the funny thing about it is that he initially wanted to wait till the summer. But they are pushing so much. Now he is actually interested in joining them immediately. Because the amount of money that they are pushing on Roberto De Zerbi is mind-blowing to think about. It is mind-blowing. He is talking about near Pep Guardiola's money, near Unai Emery's money, near Mikel Arteta's money. That is what they are pushing to get this guy. He's going to be one of the top highest paid Premier League managers right now or ever. That is the thing that they are pushing to get him in. Now, this is going to be a huge swing for Tottenham Hotspur because if Roberto De Zerbi keeps them up, then everything is Gucci. Everything is fine. But then guess what? They have committed a huge large sum of money to a manager that has not shown that he can win a lot. Roberto De Zerbi is a really good manager. He's a really good tactician. He is somebody that literally changed the way you build up from the back. You understand? He changed it. Pep Guardiola is in awe sometimes of Roberto De Zerbi's mind. But the key part about this is there's a difference between being a great coach, a great manager, and a great person in terms of coaching. And there's a difference between winning as a coach. You understand? Those differences are the differences between having a manager that takes on Brighton or Brentford than having a manager that takes on Liverpool and Manchester United. Those are the differences. You understand? That is a large gap. Now, don't get me wrong, Roberto De Zerbi, with the backing of this new Tottenham Hotspur board, could do a lot of things. He could have the pick of the lottery because they make money. They print money at Tottenham Hotspur. But the key part about this situation is that is it better to bring him in the summer or push everything, put all your chips in front of the table, right in the middle of the table right now? That's the question. Because the timing is everything and it's also very risky. You understand? He would be walking into a relegation battle that he has never been in a relegation battle in the Premier League. Brighton, in that first season that he was taking them to greater heights, even though the first few games did not work as well, because his record in first games at Brighton was 2 losses, 3 draws, and I think 2 wins. That is not me wrong. It's not the best of best. However, 2 wins for this Tottenham team might keep them up. And Roberto De Zerbi is somebody that is going to be articulating how he wants to play. It's a system. He doesn't want them to do whatever and get no. It's a system. This is not a rah-rah kind of coach. He wants you to play the way he's designed. And Tottenham Hotspur do not have the time for that right now. They need to get 3 games, at least 2 games, and get those wins for them to survive in the Premier League. And then you start going on. He doesn't have no preseason. He has a squad that is not built for his system. That is also a problem. You understand? Many analysts have also talked about, and this is also things that I would say, he is the right coach at definitely the wrong time. Even the Zerbi supporters would say he needs time to implement his ideas. He starts slow at clubs for the most part. In Brighton, that's exactly what happened. This could go very wrong and very fast because they could drop down into the championship. They would be losing around 300 million plus. And then they would have to also pay him off because I don't believe Roberto De Zerbi is going to coach in the championship. They would have to pay him off. They would have to come to an agreement on them paying him off. And that's also another large sum of money. So why does Spurs want him anyway? Let's talk positively about Roberto De Zerbi. His elite attacking philosophy, which kind of tallies with the possessional style play, is absolutely mint for a huge club. That's the reason why Manchester United had him on their list when they were firing Ten Hag. You understand? The dude is a perfect manager for a big club. I 100% agree that. He made Brighton a top 6 team at one point while he was at Brighton. And also in Europe, the way they played, the way they performed, the way they created chances, the way they absolutely beat top teams is a clever way. And he becomes very attractive to top teams. And that's the reason why Tottenham are looking at him right now. Developing players, he absolutely did a big one. We saw the best moment for Carlos Baleba while he was there as the manager. And he creates an identity. And that's something that Tottenham Hotspur are lacking right now. And they absolutely need. He would be a dream signing for Tottenham Hotspur. But the question still remains, is this the right time? That's the question. Sports fans want entertaining football, no doubt about it. Back in, and he guarantees that for sure. But of course, there are major concerns. His system is complex, it's high risk. He needs technical players. The squad, none of them. They don't have any technical players right now because majority of the technical players are injured and are not going to be back for this season. You look at the personality in the team. The personality right now is very volatile, and you're bringing a hothead also in De Zerbi because he's known for falling out with boards. He's known for falling out with his players. He's very emotional and his intense kind of style when it comes to management. In a crisis, that can absolutely explode for more. And then you also see the fan backlash that has already started. Some fans are already protesting. They're already protesting. And why are they protesting? Because of the past controversies. Example, the handling of the Mason Greenwood situation. You could walk into a divided fan base already. And that is not what you want when you're leading a team into a relegation battle. You don't want the fans in behind the eight ball already. You want the fans moving coherently towards what you want to do. You need the fans behind the players. You need the fans to give the players energy. And if you, as a manager, are taking away from those fans backing the players and your focus is on you being the manager and you being not the manager for Tottenham Hotspur, that is a problem. But this is the real truth about the situation. This is Tottenham Hotspur. This is the last roll of the dice. If it works, it will be a genius appointment. If it doesn't, if it fails, you are looking at relegation and a long-term damage. So there's no middle ground in this situation. No middle ground at all. This is the final gamble for Tottenham Hotspur. Now, let's watch and see if it works out for Roberto De Zerbi and for Tottenham Hotspur, or if we are going to be laughing at Tottenham Hotspur at the end of the season. Because trust me when I say this, it is one that is going to make the record books. It could be, on one hand, the best appointment for Tottenham Hotspur in years, or the other hand, the worst appointment because they are relegated and it would cost them more than 300 million plus and a damage that would not be repairable in the nearest future. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. If you are here in this part of the video, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and subscribe to the channel. Give us some high points if you absolutely loved what we talk about here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.